All right, good evening to our Eveleth City Council meeting. It is 5:30, May 19th of 2025. We are at the council chambers here at City Hall. I bring this to order. Jackie, would you call of order, please?
Yes, Councilor Rousey.
Here.
Councilor Koivunen.
Here.
Councilor Purpich.
Here.
Councilor Lillis.
Here.
Mayor Roan.
Here. Thank you. We'll blanket the approval of minutes of the City Council workshop on April 23rd of 25, minutes of the Town Hall meeting on April 30th of 25, and minutes of City Council meeting May 5th of 25. Motion to move.
So move.
Moved by Purpich.
Support.
Purpich by Rousey. Is there any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the agenda. Motion to approve.
Quick question. Are we going to put the Eveleth Elks Lodge 1161?
Yep.
Okay.
Add it in the discussion if you want to move.
So moved.
Moved by Koivunen.
Support.
Support by Lillis. Discussion. Add the Elks. And we will add it as,
The Elks memo.
yep, the Elks memo will add it as number 11. Do you have anything else, gentlemen, that you would like to add or any changes? Okay. All in favor of accepting the agenda with the addition, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll open up the public comment. If there's any person in the public that would like to take the podium there for 3 minutes per person, feel free to go so. No one's gonna argue and fight you.
Hi, my name is Mike Persons. I've been in resident Eveleth for about 27 years. And I've noticed when they tore down the school in the old junior high, that was the daycare, we're just sitting there and I was just thinking if the council would consider maybe putting a community garden in, if we had nothing else planned for that area, something that we could do to improve the community.
That section of property has been under discussion for quite some time. We've had a design in there for water and sewer. Right now the council has pretty much agreed that we're going to leave it as green space. So community garden and or temporary, at least temporary, would be is in the works. I guess I would have to say.
It was just something I thought of, and I thought it would,
Yeah.
instead of it being their dead space, we could actually make something kind of useful.
Yeah, anything that we're looking at right now would just be a temporary item, so if it was voted on to put something in there like that, it'd be something that could be uprooted. So as long as, when we get to that point, the citizens are understanding of that, you know? Right now, it's sitting as green space because we'd like to expand that whole park area. But if we don't need it for park area, and think that housing would be better there, then it'll be ready for that.
Right.
But
It was just something I would like.
absolutely. No, I appreciate it, because that never even crossed my mind to actually having a community garden in there. I just love seeing those kids play in there every single day and watching people have their dogs run. I enjoy watching it, but.
Yeah.
Actually, if you don't mind, Mayor,
Yours?
I think that's such a wonderful idea that if it doesn't work there, perhaps there's some other place in
Exactly.
Eveleth that we could, get something like that started. Of course, put you in charge. But just so you know that you're not talking on deaf ears, I think that's a very good idea.
No, I appreciate
And a
the
community
time.
garden would be a nice addition to bonding the community together a little bit more, and I know where to steal tomatoes.
We appreciate you bringing it up.
Guaranteed.
Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy the night. Open the podium up to anybody else that would like to speak. Once, twice, still 3 times. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much. And to everybody else that's here to listen, I appreciate you being here this evening. And everybody that's at home, we appreciate you listening and being a part of what we're doing here. Next up will be the consent of agenda. Will be the approval of payroll from April 16th through April 30th of 25. Motion to move.
So moved. Support.
Rousey, Lillis. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Pay our wonderful people. All right, we'll jump into new business. First up on new business is considering accepting the quote for phase 3 of the Fail Pond parking area. Alan, do you want to jump in on this though? Well, hold on. Got you. Steph's gonna be like, you don't have a motion, you can't move. So is there, anybody move on this?
So,
Moved by Lillis, second?
Support?
Support by Purpich. Discussion, you, Alan.
Sure, so I did visit with Matt Janik, who's our bituminous project manager. He indicated if we did take out the concrete scope of the Fail Pond project, there would be roughly a $20,000 decrease, which would bring us down to $76,555. And we'd then just more or less redo the drive-through as is and connect back to the trails under that option of awarding the base bid with that deduct of the concrete scope. That is one option that I'd have. Did talk to him again today. He'd be also open if the city or city council or staff has other ideas of holding the bid till potentially next summer, but just put that on the table. Obviously, you guys have the right to reject quotes and don't have to do nothing with it at this time as well.
So with that information, Jackie, what is the idea on that grant that we have? Are we able to ask for an extension?
I mentioned to Jerry that on behalf of the city, I've had many grant extensions, and I would hope so. And I think that maybe even Danae from IRRB would maybe even entertain if she wanted to cancel it or reapply for a higher amount. So we end up with 50%. What do you think she would say to that, Jerry? Maybe
When I talked to her last time, she mentioned that there's no guarantee we will get a higher amount. You know, each year is different, depends on the monies that they put out, so you could try it, no guarantee. But I think we could get an extension on it. I'd have to talk to them, but usually you can get a year's extension on these grants.
And this grant amount is for
30,000. 31,700 something.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
And
Go ahead.
if I might say, that bid too that Alan got, that he got the price off, that's for the base bid, that's not the, right?
Yeah.
It's not for the alternate, the nicer version that you guys wanted, that's just for the base bid.
No, I would assume that if they went forward to, say we were to award this contract, the lesser amount, and they did that work at some point in the future, we could always put the additional work out for bid, parking area.
I think you could tie it all in together, yeah. You could do a bigger area, the nicer parking spots, and you could expand from there. Yeah. This would be kind of what we have down there right now with some gravel on the side. And you could pave it anytime.
Refresh my memory on the total project budget. Were we in about 65 or thereabouts?
Yeah, we had a half of the amount of the grant was.
Okay, 60.
Yeah, so you're right around the
63.
63, 65 mark, I think it came in at.
Okay.
So if you're at 76,000
That's 10 more, right?
and change, and then you take the 31 off of it that we have from the IRRB, we're looking at 45,000, and we put out, or we budgeted for 65? No?
Oh, 30 some.
30?
Yeah, 30 something.
So just for clarification, is that you've got this modified bid amount, but that doesn't include the bulk that they use to on top of that. So those two together make an entire project scope. So I put on the spot. What do you think that total would be based on the work you've done so far and the reduced price from the Sunday bid?
Yeah, so a real fair, what I call it, estimate, I would use like 20% of that total if you were gonna, so half of that's probably been expended already, and then the other half would be during the construction phase that you'd probably see cost for services during construction, staking it out, construction observation, things like that.
Jerry, if we do nothing this year and we push it off for 1 year, everything else that we've done is completely usable, correct? We're not-
Correct. Yep.
Once we take care of the water issue that people of town, we are well aware of, and Jerry and I are actively trying to get this taken care of.
Yep.
Everything else can still be utilized the way that we anticipated. This isn't gonna hold us up from usage of the property.
No, this won't hold us up at all. Yeah.
Any thoughts at the table? Yes, go ahead,
Okay,
Jerry.
so I did some quick math, and so the total scope of this phase 3 is about $92,000. And so we had budgeted 33,000, and then you're gonna get about 33 from the I-Trip. So depending on what you're going to do, whether you reject it or put it off, we'd have to make sure that we plan for it in next year's budget and that carry over what we had already budgeted this
So with
year.
that, and I'd like to do everything right away, but, we have a lot of things going on right now, so if it's something that we don't entirely have to have and they can use it, and it won't affect them using it, once we get the water and stuff out of there, I would make a motion that we hold off until next year, and then we budget it for it, so that when we fix it, it's not gonna affect anything.
I would also add, only if we can get the extension.
Yes, only if we can get the extension.
Yeah, I'll check with them tomorrow about that, but I'm pretty sure we can get the extension, but I will make sure tomorrow.
Yeah, I would agree with that, as long as we get the extension, so that we can put it off till next year. I have to agree with Councilor Coivinon, and
We had to buy them lawnmowers.
we had a few things that had to be taken, addressed, so I think, if we can put it off, I would like to do that.
Counselor Lillis?
Well, I think I can see the wisdom in both. I agree that we need to finish that project, and I would like to finish it in about the same time or as planned. It's a very important part of our town, and but with that said, I can see the wisdom in holding off a year as long as we have the availability of grant funds. That if we can arrange that, I think we can have the work done next year. Maybe we'll get a better bid, and maybe we'll be able to do the deluxe version plan, next year, as opposed to doing the reduced rate version this year.
I too agree with the extension. I don't really care for the idea of declining it and then reapplying and hoping to get more. It sounds like a game show I used to watch,
No whammy, no whammy, no
Yeah,
whammy stuff.
whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm all for the extension. I'd like to make sure that though in the future, that if we don't get the deluxe model or whatever, because it's, like I said, that's the front of Eveleth. That in the future, there's a possibility that we can upgrade and continue, to get what we finally want, that we think looks representative of our town out there. So, I'm all for the extension that Jerry's 99% sure he can get. And that's my thoughts on that.
Well, I am thankful that you gentlemen said it as well, because I was coming up here hoping that I wasn't gonna have to have a tango match, because I know you guys have a lot of heart and energy into this over the years, and I just didn't want to be the one to come in and say, hey, I think that we should wait. So I
There's
stand
a lot of
there
dust
and,
in town. There's a lot of dust in town, so.
well, I didn't want to make Alan cry, so I mean, Joe did it, not me, so. With that being said, Joel, to your expertise, do we just put a hold on this to vote on it? Do we vote that we want to wait and see if we get the extension? What makes the most sense so we're not making multiple votes and paperwork and everything for everybody?
If you wanted, I think that you could reject it contingent on getting the extension from the IRRR. Now, if you don't, because that's a contingency, your rejection of that bid would fail, you'd have to take that up at a further council meeting. But, yeah, I think you'd be okay doing that.
Okay, so just create it as reject this on contingent of the extension from the IRRB.
Yeah.
Vote it that way. Call it good?
Okay, question is, so if they reject it, it's rejected, and then they'd like to maybe see it once Jerry can confirm it today, an extension, then bring it back to the council? Okay. He wants to reject this in its entirety.
Can you not table it?
There's a motion on the floor.
I'll rescind
Right.
my motion.
That was Lillis and Purpich that
Opened it.
opened us up for conversation.
Correct.
So do we have a motion to move on rejecting?
Well, to Jerry's point, we can table it if you're just waiting to find out whether we might be able to
Okay.
extend
That's-
that to next year, or roll it over.
Okay,
Into their next fiscal year.
so we can just table this to our next meeting based on the
Yeah.
answers that you get for us, Jerry?
Yeah,
That-
correct.
I like that way better than what we're doing. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So we just need a motion then to move and motion to table it.
So moved.
Purpich,
Support.
support by Lillis. Any further discussion on this, gentlemen? Okay, so all in favor of tabling topic of phase 3 on the parking lot, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries to table that. Jerry, we appreciate you putting energy into that in advance. Next up, number 2 is considering the accepting the quote for the North and South Court brush cleanup. Anybody at home that's wondering, if you go between North Court and South Court, it was brought up at a, excuse me, a town hall event, that we've got quite the mess in there. And we have a quote here from Sabi Bituminous for $36,000 to clean up and mulch all the brush and small trees on the hillside, remove the rotten and blown over trees from the hillside and haul it all away. And we would just have to find a solution to getting rid of the garbage that might still be there when they are done. Do we have a motion to move?
Also move for discussion.
No support.
Moved by Koivunen, support Lillis. Discussion is open.
You know, $36,000 seems like a lot of money, but if you've taken a walk through there and seen a liability on our part, and then not only our part, but the people that are cutting the trees down, I think that's a mere drop in the bucket compared to what could happen. So, I mean, is it something I wanted to do? No. But if you walk through there, you know it has to be done, so I just want what everybody else wants to do.
We've had other bids. This is the lowest bid that we have. I agree with Councilor Koivunen, it's a mess in there. It's awful dry in there. If something should happen, a spark or something go off from a barbecue or whatever, there'd be a lot of damage, I think. It's a hazard. I think it should be cleaned up. It is an awful lot of money. I go to Jackie to see, make sure we had the money available for something like this.
Yeah, so I just looked at what you folks approved for discretionary capital and those items we've added to it. And looking at the list, I have a general idea of what maybe we might not finish or do this year. So I think this can be covered out of discretionary capital. So,
Okay.
and I understand it's a urgent need considering the dryness and wildfire risk.
And you know, when we do get this done, all of us are gonna drive by there and say, why didn't we do it sooner? You know, so I'm willing to take that chance.
Well, once it's done, it'll be something easier for the city to keep up on as well. Right now, it's a project that's far too big for the city or a small town person that's gonna do some tree cutting to even try and tackle. It's quite the project in there, and I'm appreciative that we had the town hall meeting and somebody brought it to my attention. How many times I drove by and never took a left or a right to look in there. So that was great. But I agree completely with what you're saying, with everything we're seeing. And I don't mean to shed light on something that's negative, but with the fires we've been seeing, you are right. If we get a dry spell in there, that is quite the hot spot for us in town. So Does anybody have any further discussion they'd like to add to it?
I will help vet that information for safety. I was on the side of that hill in the direction of Jerry, and it's treacherous at best. It's a bad incline. And these people come in with the safety tools and the training, and I know that it's a lot of money, but it's right in the middle of our town. Let's clean it up. And the fire hazard, which is a nice extra card to play. I like that because that could really torture her if it was dry enough. So 100% behind spending the money, though I don't like the numbers. At least it's not 6 zeros.
Did he make mention, or did the bidder make mention, how soon they might be able to start if the bid is awarded?
Yeah, he did mention he wouldn't be able to do it till this fall,
Okay.
so I would imagine September, October he'd be in there.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, gentlemen? Okay, so we have a motion, or moved by Koivunen, second by Lillis. Discussion is there. All in favor of hiring Masabi Bituminous for this project on North and South Court, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of the new location for the dog park. At our last workshop, it came to our attention, well, it didn't come to our attention, we've been talking about it for a while, about moving the dog park from in the tree wooded area by the exit of the mine here in town to putting it behind the current, what we call IGA. Taking a little bit of movement of some fencing and whatnot to make it right. Obviously, it won't all happen overnight, but we can get the project rolling. Is there anything anybody would like to add directly to that basic summary before we move on?
I would just like to say that Parks and Rec should be involved with it because they do a lot of work, and I think it'll be a good thing when we get it up there.
Motion to move.
So move.
Purpich.
Or
Support by Rousey. Further discussion? I agree with your statement completely, Councilor Koivunen, that once we get the move done and Jerry and his team gets the things done, then we put this in the hands of Parks and Rec. They can come to us with what they feel is right to change, move, alter, et cetera, and, you know, we as a council can remove our hands from that and let them do their thing from there. So, for the time being, if we hear all ayes, or at least 3, that we will maintain the one that stays on the hill until the one at IGA is completely operational the way that should be safely. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Wonderful. Kind of some light in that tunnel that's been going on for a while. And I tip my hat to the Parks and Rec group too, and anybody who wants to join that group, do it. They're a group that's going to be awfully busy over the next few years with everything going on, so please do so. Up next is the miscellaneous lease between the state of Minnesota and the city of Eveleth. There is a piece of property on the outside of town that we utilize essentially for our brush, etc. for 5 years? Is that what I read right? 5-year term? 5-year term. Yes, 5-year term. 5-year lease, just under $2,200. Motion to move.
So move.
Support.
Purpich, Koivunen. Jerry, is this your usage back there all the time?
I'm just trying to, where is this?
It's across from Andrews to West Evelyn and Leonidas. Isn't that the brush dump?
Oh, yeah, we use it as our burning brush area. But there's traffic in and out of there all day going into the mines in the backside of the mine and everywhere else. So we're not just designated back there, other people go back there also. But we do, I think, lease it for just the brush burning piles.
So when we bring our brush to city garage by the recycling center, you're just picking it up, moving it there, and then that's where you're disposing it?
Yep,
And do you light it on fire, or do they?
we do. We let everybody know, we let the DNR know, the police, the 911, everybody else, and then we started. We usually start it in the winter,
Sure.
so.
Okay.
And wait for winds, you know,
Every
the
once
ray
in a while,
winds.
somebody else will start it for you.
Yeah, every now and again, but it's been pretty good so far. Hopefully we keep it that way.
Any further discussion on that? All right, all in favor of us signing that lease, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Seems to make sense, gotta get rid of the brush somehow. All right, next up is to pay the application number 1 from Peterson Sheet Metal in the amount of $206,749.64 for the multipurpose building boiler reconstruction project. Do we have a motion to move?
So moved.
Moved by Purpich,
Support.
support by Lillis. Discussion?
Jackie, is this for just what we did for last winter? Or is this for the whole
So
upgrade?
the entire project was temporary heat and permanent heat.
Okay, so this is the permanent job.
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
So I did have one question on it. When there was that breakdown, when did we pay the $353? Did we pay that immediately as like a down payment?
We don't have down payments, but really good question. So, it says the contract sum to date completed and stored, so the 353 is the balance.
Why was I in high hopes that that was already paid? Oh, sick. Okay. Okay. Any further discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Building has to have heat if we're gonna move forward with it. All right, next up is the consideration of the quotes from Upper Midwest Athletic Construction for the pickleball court conversion and the tennis court color and coat system. Motion to move.
So moved.
I'm gonna go move Lillis. I heard 2 talking. Second?
Support.
Support.
Stereo,
Wow.
stereo.
All right, perfect. So we discussed this prior at our workshop, and to get the answer to the one question that came up is how much was the fencing to divide it properly so your ball isn't going to the other person's court. They assumed 8,000 or a little bit less depending on how far they'd have to travel to get to fence lines. They stated that they're right around $70 to $80 a foot to put up that fencing. Something that they can do in the process. They do have us slated to drive on up, take a look at it, but based off the pictures that I had sent him, he felt confident that he was in the right ballpark with the number that was given. As far as June goes, if that's what it would be, if we were to contact them this week, they believe they can still get us in June if we decided to move forward. If we want to sit on a little bit, we might be waiting until late fall, so.
I guess I would be, or I guess more comfortable, well, maybe I should ask the question with regard to these quotes. I would assume that, you know, they presented them in good faith, even without looking at the project physically, and that they'll stand by their quote.
Yeah, he had stated that it would take something horrible on our quote. I think if we had him come up and take a look at the one behind IGA, it might change drastically. But he had said the pictures, you know, if I'm being honest and showing the worst parts, that it's all things that they typically are doing in these resurfaces. He did also state that depending on usage, that they recommend that this is done every 6 to 10 years. If we don't have a high school team or collegiate team or camps playing on it routinely, we're probably looking at more of the 10-year term. But he also made a good point that it all depends on how it's being treated. So to your points at the workshop, you know, getting up signs that state that it's not for bicycles and things like that, that'll help keep things going a little longer. And I believe honestly that if you've got the pickleball courts in there, you're gonna have people around there again. And those people themselves are gonna kind of self-police the whole area. You're gonna wanna keep it looking nice. For the people at home that are wondering, to make it 2 of the courts into 6 pickleball courts, we're looking at roughly $59,000. And to get the tennis courts resurfaced to the way that they should be, we're looking at roughly $27,000. And Jerry, my question was, the nets and everything that the school had up, did they hand all that over to us? Did it?
Whatever is there, they did, yeah. We don't have any extra nets. I don't believe
There
there's
are no
any.
nets up when I was just there last weekend.
If they're not in the old gym, then they didn't leave them. And I don't know if they're in there or not. I know there's some volleyball nets in there, but I'm not sure if there's any tennis nets.
That would be kind of,
I could find out.
you know, why wouldn't you leave the nets? I mean, that'd be kind of,
They probably took them and put them away somewhere.
yeah, so maybe they're.
So maybe they still have them, but then when they were cleaning the gym area out, that building, they threw a lot of stuff away also. So I don't know if they
'Cause
tossed those.
that's where they were originally stored, is in the old gym underneath the bleachers.
So I could take a look. I'll call Mike tomorrow and see if, he'll know if they're left there or not.
You see Mike from the school?
Yeah, Mike.
Okay, Mike Holt?
Yep.
I got you, okay. Yeah, when I was up there the other day watching people play tennis without nets, I'm like, well, I love the imagination and I love that they're here using it, but why aren't the nets out yet? That would be a good point. So we need to get them on that.
You didn't hear anything from the company in the falls? You didn't hear anything from them yet?
No, I never checked back, but they never called me, said he was coming, so.
Oh, he didn't come at
No,
all? Okay.
no, he was supposed to call when he came and he never called me, so.
All right.
Then after our last workshop, I just didn't call him.
I'd like to see this project go forward. I really would.
To help with the funding, I don't want to talk about too much stuff, but there's money that has been gifted to us from community members. And there is money inside of the charitable gambling fund, thank you, that we can utilize. So this isn't money that's coming out of discretionary funds or anything of the sorts. It's kind of money that's just been growing slowly throughout the years that we're finally going to take out of that charitable gambling. And then at the same time, like I said, a very nice donation from local business.
You know, Mayor, the best way to say it, which everybody's gonna watch and wanna know, the taxpayers will not be paying for this. Because we get that question a lot, why are you spending our tax-paying dollars on this and that? 'Cause there's people that don't like pickleball.
Yep.
Just so they know, we are not spending any tax dollars on it, so.
Yeah, there's a lot of other ways to get to it on this one. We're lucky for that and be able to, once we hear at least 3 ayes, hopefully by the 4th of July, have people playing pickleball and tennis back out on the court again. And if we have to get some nets, we'll just have, I don't know, Jerry knit some, I guess, that'd be fine.
I can buy them.
You'll buy them? Okay.
I can buy them.
Is there any further discussion on this, gentlemen? Okay, all in favor of moving forward with both the pickleball conversion and the tennis court coding system, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I will reach out to them via email when we leave here so that we can try to get on that list right away. Number 7, letter from the Eveleth 4th of July Committee announcing the Grand Marshal and requesting $5,000 to support the 2025 4th of July events. Motion to move.
So,
I'll second.
Okay, Purpich and Rosie, thank you, gentlemen. Discussion?
we have, in the past, contributed to this event. It's one of the big things we have in town. I think any business that is in town, whether it's downtown Eveleth and or Hattrick Avenue in that area, benefits from this. So I don't think it's out of line to help support our 4th of July event here in Eveleth.
And Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, this is that same exact account that we just talked about, the charitable gambling.
You are correct, Mayor.
So for years, this is where that money's been coming from. So again, it's not from our taxpayers' dollars, it's,
And you know what, just to let the people know that the $5,000 is just a drop in the bucket, because the fireworks themselves last year was $45,000 plus. So, and these people work hard all year long, raising money. I think they raised about $6,000 last weekend for a golf tournament. So they're working, they're over and beyond what they should be doing. You know, I mean, I just can't take I applaud them, all of them, because it's a lot of work, from putting a parade on to fireworks to the street dance. So I just want to thank them and just let people know it costs a lot of money to do this.
and we're, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And just so the public knows that the grand marshals this year are going to be Mike and Cammie Newman. Mike was was an employee for the city, working at the golf course and at the Hippodrome. Cammie was a great teacher in our school system. They're very active with they're on the golf commission. They're active in all the things that go on in this town, both Mike and Cammie, and I congratulate them on being selected as the grand marshals.
My congratulations as well.
Yes, well deserved.
Well-deserved is right. I appreciate them very much in our community, and anytime I bump into Cammie, I always end up with a smile on my face. It's a good conversation. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor to support with a $5,000 gift to the fireworks, well, to the July committee and for the grand marshals, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Congratulations to them, and I cannot wait to see the fireworks again. It is the highlight of my 4th of July. As much as seeing Mr. Purpich ride in a vehicle this year on the parade is going to be nice, it's going to be more exciting. More exciting. We're not going to have you walk it. All right, next up is request from the police chief to sell the abandoned and forfeited guns. Motion to move.
So moved.
Moved by Lillis.
Support.
Support by Koivunen. Chief, tell me about this.
These are, last time we sold guns was in 2017 to Virginia Surplus. These are guns that we no longer use. Some have broken sights. These are guns that we've got through the forfeiture process. Some of our calls, guns have been turned in by family members that no longer want them. 2 of them are going to fall in this. They're falling in the ditch. So they're used to us. So we've had Mr. Ellis from Virginia Surplus came in, looked at them all. Some he's not taken, some are just in that bad of shape. So these are the ones that he's willing to purchase for the $1,665.
What are your thoughts you're going to do at $1,665?
I believe we are planning on buying some new shotguns for our squad cars that
Oh.
are long overdue and need to be replaced. So.
Jerry thought you were going to put those on his lawnmowers. Wonderful. I'm glad when there's a plan in place. Question, what do you do with the ones then that they don't want to purchase? Are they destroyed?
Yeah, we'll destroy them. We'll take them out to the garage and torch them.
Okay. Wonderful. Gentlemen, any discussion on that at all? And if you have no discussion, Chief, that means you figured out how to talk to these guys, right?
I already talked to him today.
Oh, there it is.
He's got a plus in front of his number, not a minus.
Yeah. Solid. All right. All in favor of selling these abandoned and forfeited guns, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much, Chief. Thank you for that. How often is that?
So the last time we did was on 2017.
So is that normal to go 8 years or?
I suppose.
Okay. I didn't know if it was just a slow period of time of collecting
We've
or,
been cleaning out our stuff in the impound lot, in the garage, stuff you guys approved the last few months, so it's kind of a little housekeeping.
making room for something, right?
Making room.
All right, next up, number 9, resignation. And I was gonna ask too, so I did not destroy this name. I apologize in advance. But, you know, why don't you just help me out? I'm sure you've talked to him once.
Well, here's how I get out of this one. The gentleman was never too active, so I too do not know how to say his last name. I don't even know if I've ever met him.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with resignation from Justin Blazowicz.
I think that's very close. Yeah.
I like it. When I read it earlier, I sounded it out, so I don't know. But with that being said, he put in his resignation and has turned in all of his equipment. Do we have a motion to move?
So moved.
Moved by Purpich. Second by
Support.
Coivinon. Any further discussion?
Do we send him a letter of thanks?
Absolutely. I look forward to sign, not that I look forward to signing anything when people leave, but to thank them for sure. Anything further? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. You want to tackle that one then?
No, I prefer not to.
Next up,
I
number
might have
10.
something to say later, but
Next up, number 10, resignation from Joshua Kalitzi from the EMT service. Kalatzi? Oh, that's close.
yeah.
Motion to move?
So moved.
By Coivinon, support by Lillis. Any discussion?
I always hate to see an EMT or a firefighter leave the hall.
We're quite used to this scenario.
I can't believe how many times we've gone through this, and
Yeah.
And you know, when he writes you a letter like this,
We had
You know,
Josh for a little bit longer than usual because he wasn't a paramedic, he was just an EMT, but he was pursuing a police career.
That was-
He got hired
And he
at,
got hired in Silver Bay.
at Silver Bay.
well, congratulations to
Yeah,
him,
it's-
I think.
It is a solid.
Yeah.
The city of Eveleth did what it did and
But he was
wish him the
he was a
best.
very good asset for, he rose through the ranks pretty quick, became a lead and.
I mean,
Yeah, last year he had over 200 runs himself, he put a lot of time in for us. So we're filling in his gap, but once again, it's that up and down, up and down. But they're on top of it, and I'm not worried about it. Couple extra shifts here and there till it smooths out, that's the way it goes.
And Joshua will be there until June 1st.
Actually, I believe he has worked his last shift
He
already.
did.
Due to the liberal scheduling that we have at the.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yes.
I've heard about that. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much to both Justin and Joshua for their time served here and wish the best of luck to both of them as they move forward. Number 11 is the addition. It is from the Elks. They're looking for the okay to put in a small in-ground burn pit for their ceremony and proper disposal of U.S. flags. They do it with participation of the VFW Post 1172. They're looking for permission to put this burn pit alongside the Veterans Memorial Monument that is down in Vale Pond area, correct?
Correct.
Jerry, you worked with talked to them about this, what have you, maybe spoke with Melanie a little bit. Is there a timeline when they're looking at doing this?
They'd like to get going right away, that's why they try to get it on the agenda for tonight.
Okay.
They're gonna call for locates as soon as you give them the permission, and they're gonna hand dig everything, and they said it'll look real nice. They're gonna put some brick around the burn enclosure, and then they can have proper flag burning ceremonies.
Everything that they've done like that has always been very nice and very well done, so as long as you got a spot that you're happy with and you're happy with, I'm all for it.
Yep.
Motion to move
so moved.
by Purpich,
Second.
second by Rousey. Any further discussion, gentlemen?
I know I participated in some of these flag burning things with the VFW and the auxiliary and the Elks Club, and I think the last couple times we did it was, or I participated, it was right outside in a burn barrel right outside the Elks Club. I think this will be much nicer.
A little bit better respect.
I think so. I think so.
Wonderful. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Go around, we can start with you, Mr. Coivinon.
We had a golf commission meeting. I'll let Jerry touch on that. But otherwise, that's about all that. We had an airport commission too, but I'll let Jim talk about that. So I'm bailing.
Excellent, I like that.
That's why you want to go first, huh?
Yeah.
Well played.
He handed me $5 and some chocolate and said, let me go first.
I do just
I
like chocolate.
I'm done.
Perfect.
So if you're deferring to Jerry on the golf course, what do we need now, Jerry? Didn't we just buy a new vehicle for out there last year?
Yeah, no, we don't need anything out there right now. Things are going good.
And by chance, did it come up what you plan on doing with that electrical medical unit on hole 5?
Yep,
Is that a solution yet?
I've been talking with Councilor Rousey, and Teresa Elverum called me today and sent me some different boxes that we could get where it's a locked box. It's like the one downstairs across from my office. It's a metal box, it's locked. It has a big enough piece of glass you can break and pull it out. And she didn't feel that we'd have a whole lot of problems because they're all over the place and they don't really have any problems with them. But I'm a little nervous about the 5th hole. It's out in the middle of nowhere. So we're just looking for that box, and she just sent me that today, so I'll get it ordered and we'll get it installed out there. And they got golf clubs they could break the glass pretty easily with if you needed to get in there. But at least it's secure.
A lot of people have fancy golf clubs, so they'll just use mine, Target, but still.
And mine
it's fine.
also, yep.
It's fine. No,
Besides that, things are going good. Season tickets have been pretty steady right away, so things are going good right now. We had a little drought out there. We had some broken water lines that needed to be fixed. Something was wrong with the pump station. We got that fixed now, and then with this rain, we're starting to get everything back. The greens are all good. 4 is a little dry, but besides that, everything's going good right now.
so he deferred to you, you deferred to him, but he also deferred to you regarding the airport.
The airport, yeah. We interviewed some candidates to replace the supervisor out there. We haven't had much luck. We reposted. So the posting for a manager out there has been, we gave them the okay to post for a new manager out there. It's, right now it's at $25 an hour. It's 20 hours a week. There are some do's and don'ts that have to be addressed there. This person, whoever it is, will have to go by, but it's all everything's mentioned in the ad that's been posted.
And it's not just a solid, it's 20 hours plus. It could be up to 30 hours. It all depends how the business out there is running.
Some weeks you might not even have to work 20 hours. But, there are some responsibilities that have to be taken care of daily, so things like that. So that's where we're at with the airport right now.
Okay.
Once again, we are ahead of both of my board meetings for HRA and EDA, so I have nothing to report.
I also belong to that set group that was just aforementioned. And all our meetings, see, these guys get this meeting, then we get the next meeting moving forward, because our meetings come next. So it's sort of well balanced out pretty good.
You like that?
A little bit.
A little bit. Fair. Our media one was postponed until this Wednesday, so we will chat there and what came up at our last meeting regarding fail and the resigning from it. I'll try to get some answers when I go to it then, kind of go from there. The only other thing that I was going to bring up, it's not technically a board or liaison or whatever, but it has, I've been asked quite a few times by the public. Joel might go, stop talking right now, but I'm not going to. Everybody knows, or they think they know, but Jackie did put in a resignation at the end of this year. Retirement, excuse me. Yes, she is not going to work anywhere else. She is DUN. With that being said, myself and fellow council member Brian have been working diligently on a lot of things. And we are in the correct timeline of what we're happy with. And that's just where I'm gonna leave it for right now. But people that have shown interest, wondering about loved ones, it's time to start just kind of paying attention in the near future. You might see the posting out there. And anybody that is watching and didn't know that she was retiring, you don't have to get excited. We were aware of it. She did not put us in a situation of things that we were unaware of. So we're just plugging along to try to do this the right way. And as much as I try to avoid Brian and Brian tries to avoid me, we spend lots of time together chatting now. So it's all good. And we'll continue to move forward. So with that being said, that is what I had on my list. Chief?
Nothing else tonight, Mayor.
Wonderful. And skip Jerry. Alan. Jerry, anything you have today?
No, I'll let Alan explain the water line that got started out at the airport. I'll defer that to Alan.
I was hoping that you would mention that we have been diligently, truly, again, working on getting contact with Hale Pond to try and
Oh, exactly. We
make
have
water disappear. But if you want to explain the little invert,
Yep, we have an inverted culvert on mining property that's, and it's not our culvert. So we're trying to get somebody to work with us and get that straightened out and get it fixed. Once that's fixed, there's some beaver dams downstream that we can get rid of and it'll take care of the water. We've just been having a hard time, getting together with who we need to get together with to get this solved. I mean, even if we got it dug out for now, the pond will go down, but it's tough because you don't want to lose too much water in Fail Pond either.
right, with the
So that's why
inverted,
you need that invert.
with it being inverted, if we just started to dig a trench, it would just drain it pretty much.
It could possibly drain
Right.
it, yeah. So
So-
we got to be real careful with it. We're trying, we put a lot of money down in Fail Pond in the trails. We want people to use it and it's very frustrating, put it that way, but we're working on it.
The date that we were given people at home was they have a meeting on the 22nd to discuss their side of things. So hopefully then Jerry and I can be informed thereafter of what it is they want from us or whatever it may need to be. So we're just not waiting, I would say peacefully, but we're really not. I mean, it's on my mind every time I drive by. So-
There's nothing we can do. It's on private property,
Yep.
so we can't trespass
Right.
until we get the okay, so.
And from there, you're pushing everything on Ellen?
I'm gonna, give it to Alan to give a little detail on our, water line, out in Ely Lake.
So yeah, they're making progress on the water line out in Ely Lake. It's all, the new pipe is all drilled in the ground. The next step will be starting to, transition some water services over to the new pipe after it's been tested and all that. So we're getting to that point. They did find a 1-inch water service that fed there was a little bit of a mystery onto, the road on St. Mary's Lake that comes off in that project area. That was found today, so that helped make us feel a little better about getting this project done and not missing a service or something like that, so.
If you're looking for a pipe, you could just ask me, no matter where I dig. I'm gonna find something I don't wanna find.
Well, I was going out to the meeting out there the other day and I thought, boy, these guys are really, really moving along. And then I saw this black pipe coming at me. And I'm going like, what the heck? I thought it was so wide. It was a forklift carrying, I don't know how many pieces of pipe on there. It looked like an airplane coming at you, down the road. I thought, holy cow. But they really seem to be doing some work out there.
Timeline looking like it's supposed to?
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, and I'll sign papers like I'm supposed to as well. Whoops. Anything else from the table?
So thank you, man.
Jackie, do you have anything on your desk?
I don't think
Last but not least, Joel, anything on your mind?
No, Mayor.
Thank you for being here again. With that being said, we'll bring this meeting to adjournment and we will move forward with fellow meetings as needed. Gentlemen, City of Eveleth, have a wonderful night.